Hi again, everybody. It is time for another nostalgia episode. And we are back with the other three computers, the Inspiron, the Latitude, and the ThinkPad. So we're back here with all three of these computers. Now, for those who remember from the last episode what we did, I attempted to get a No Weather Radio stream running on the Dell Vostro, which has mostly been a success. I was in the process of updating Windows, installing all the security updates and patches that Microsoft released for Windows 7 up until its end of support in January of 2020. As I was on the last set of updates, Kaspersky on my three Windows 11 computers were telling me that a network attack was blocked. And at that moment, I realized it must be coming from Windows 7. So I immediately took it offline, and then I had to decide what to do next. I was thinking, alright, if we cannot recover the recovery partition on the hard drive, I might as well just upgrade it to 10 and leave it there. As Windows 10 really is the only OS that can work on the machine now that is supported by Microsoft and only has 2 more years of support left. As of now, it is on Windows 10. It is on the latest version, which is good. So now in this episode, I'm going to try and recreate a server and a domain with these two Windows 10 computers. But this is the oddball. What I mean is that this is going to be the one hosting the server. However, I want to keep Windows 7 on this machine. So how we're going to do this is first we're going to go into create and format hard disk partitions. What I'm going to do is we're going to shrink the volume. So I'm going to shrink it down by about 40,000 megabytes, which will leave 82 gigabytes of space. Because what I want to do is do a dual boot of Windows 7 and the server software we're going to install, which is on this flash drive here. We're going to go ahead and insert the USB. And now we're going to go ahead and restart. So it is being detected by the computer, but why is it not being detected in the BIOS? Now let's try the ThinkPad. I mean, this has already had a tumultuous history. Now, because I want to get this part of a domain, we're going to do the Windows Anytime upgrade. Because the thing is, we cannot do the whole domain thing on Windows 7 Home. We have to do it on a newer edition like Professional, Ultimate, and Enterprise. That's the only way this can be done. Yes, I accept the license terms. Alright, here we go. Let's upgrade the edition of Windows 7. So, what this is doing is it's upgrading the edition of Windows we have. So I don't think I've ever gotten to try this before. So it's starting the upgrade. It'll automatically restart. Upgrading Windows. And there it is. Windows 7 Professional. The upgrade was successful. So as we saw with Windows 8, the Wi-Fi card works out of the box. So we will start the installation. Now, we do not have a product key because, again, this is going to be a 180-day evaluation copy. So this copy I found contains Standard and Data Center. Now, I know Data Center, so this is for... Now, there are two editions of this. There's a regular edition and a desktop edition. So what the Standard Edition is it does not come with a graphical interface, which, Explorer and all that other stuff. You can run scripts and everything like that through PowerShell. However, we want to do the desktop experience with Explorer. Standard is like for, like small businesses and stuff like that. And then Data Center is for those much larger environments. So we'll install Server 2016 Standard, which actually will get updates for another 4 years because its support ends in 2027. So It's got a lot of time left, more than double the time of Windows 10 itself. And now, since this is Windows 7 Professional, we can edit the group policy, which will apply to a certain group of users or all users on this computer. But that is what we are going to be setting up in this entire simulated domain. So I actually did try this out on a copy of Windows Server 2003 Standard Academic Edition Service Pack 1 with Service Pack 3 of Windows XP Professional. It's just the typical Service Pack 3. It's not the unofficial Service Pack 4, which comes with the POS Ready patch. I guess it's called, called the POS Ready patch, which adds a secret key to the registry that will allow your which would allow the XP OS to receive POS Ready updates and apply them. However, they don't maintain any sort of security because I think it wasn't discovered until about a year or so after XP lost support. So it was like some sort of patch that you could use to continue getting XP updates until 2019, which was when POS Ready lost support. And it was the last XP edition of Windows to be supported by Microsoft. Which, such a shame, isn't it? I'll just take you around some of the settings here in the group policy. So you can see how this works. Now there are some newer settings if you are doing this on a newer edition of Windows. So yeah, that's an option that can turn off the automatic termination of applications. So here what we could do is change some options. We could change a ton of options, such as automatic updates and everything like that. Or the found new hardware messages and everything like that. So there's a lot of things you could change. And we could go down to Windows settings and we can get a lot of stuff. We can go down to Windows components. We can change a bunch of settings, like turn off desktop gadgets, which will actually disable the desktop gadget gallery. So what I'll try is I'll put on stuff like this clock, the CPU meter, the picture puzzle, and the slideshow. I'm going to put all those on, and then I'm going to enable this policy. So now what just happened is now, you can see now we are unable to change those settings, because now we get this message saying that gadgets is now being managed by the administrator. And if we remove a gadget, we cannot get it back because the policy has been disabled. And then if we tell it not configured, it will re-enable that gallery. So we could do a whole ton of stuff. We can have it control the policy here. The remote shutdown interface. And then there's a ton of other settings like turn off color profiles, login options, or something like Windows Media Center. We can enable Media Center to not run, and then when we try to run it, we get the error that it says it's not allowed because of the policy. And then when we tell it not configured, it will then run. We're going to do custom, and there is the unpartitioned space on the hard drive. So we'll hit next, and off we go. And when we restart, we will see Windows 10 and Server 2016. Meanwhile, the Latitude has a ton of updates to do. Now that process is really similar to Windows 10, so you're missing nothing much. So why don't we check out a little bit more of the other group policy and see what else is there. So we can turn off the connect to network projector option, which will not allow it to run. We can tell it to run. And it says access is controlled by administrator, and it does not work. And we can go in here and disable stuff with Internet Explorer. Enforce full screen mode. So when we run Internet Explorer, we do not have the address bar or anything. We don't have the address bar, it's all forced full screen, as it says. And we can tell it no, not configure it. We can tell it to create a new, we can tell Internet Explorer to pull up a new tab. We can set it to the home page or the new tab page or just a blank page altogether. So we could set that up accordingly. And of course we can turn off BitLocker. Yeah, here's a look at a lot of the stuff. So there's a lot of stuff we can turn off here. We can turn off Windows Defender. I mean, this system is already unprotected anyway, but I'll keep it on just for now. We could turn off Windows Mail. Even though we are going to be setting up a domain, I just want to check out a few of the things. I'm not sure if Windows Mail is in the start menu or accessories, but wherever it is gone. And I'm assuming it takes effect immediately. Go online to get Windows Live Essentials. So I guess that depends on if Windows Mail is actually installed on the system. If it is installed, then the policy would take effect if it is installed. And this, I think, is the changing the setting will require a log off to be applied. And we could do that. And I'll try it out with the basic theme. So it's taking effect right now, but then when we log off and log back in, it will not take effect. I can already start to see that the basic theme is taking effect everywhere. It's already starting to take effect everywhere. I like the cityscape. So yeah, I'm already not getting options to do arrow or anything. And if we tell it not configured, then go back to personalize. Yeah, it'll only take effect when we log off. So yeah, so pretty much the arrow theme has been disabled. So we'll just leave it not configured. And we could apply the default user logon picture for all users on the system, if we could. We can prevent restoring previous versions from startup or anything. Could run a set of log on, log off scripts. There are a bunch of other settings that we could do. If we can turn off slideshow. So when we do that, the slideshow option will, or slideshow in general, will no longer be available. Well, except for some of the Windows 7 default themes. I really like them. It'd be really nice if I could get them working on Windows 10. And 11 for that matter. The Delta actually has to be my favorite. This was... That kind of sounds like a car speeding by or something. So now we get 30 seconds to choose between 10 and 2016. We'll boot 2016. Now we are asked to put in a password for the administrator account. All right. Now the server is all finalized and is all set to go. And I might want to keep the flash drive in because when we set up the server, it's most likely going to require additional files from that USB. So it's best that I keep it in. So I can already tell the difference that it already immediately requires Control-Alt-Delete to unlock the computer and log in. So that's what it tells us to do. This is what the school had set up on Windows 10. All these more detailed login prompts. Yeah, all these detailed prompts that say, preparing Windows, please wait for profile service, please wait for Windows Update service, please wait for all this stuff to run and boot your system and stuff like that before logging in. And it would do the same thing when you're shutting it down, like when you're logging off or shutting down the system, it would do the exact same thing. And if it had to update Windows, it would do the usual update message in between. And there was the Windows 10 the Windows 10 background, the first Windows 10 background, I should say. We're gonna go ahead and add roles and features to the server. Can we move the box? No, we cannot. Okay. So that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna do a role-based installation. This is our server right here. We want to do Active Directory, so we're going to do Active Directory domain. These will add all the features. We're going to do all the Active Directory stuff, so we'll add Active Directory rights management. We'll add lightweight directory, We'll add Federation and Certificate Services. We'll add Hyper-V as well. We're gonna do a file and storage server. So we're gonna check all of these services. Yeah, we're gonna do a file server. That's what we're gonna use it for. We're not gonna use this as a web server. Yeah, we might need that. We will do Windows deployment. We'll do volume activation, remote desktop, and remote access. Alright, so that's what we need. So next, I'm going to install, if it needs Framework 3.5, we'll install that. We will do, let's see what else there is. I'll do the Telnet client. I'll do server backup as well, just in case. The wireless LAN service. And next, this is about Active Directory. This is some information about it. And we'll do, we'll just leave the Federation support alone. This is about web servers. And this is about all the stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything much with it, so lightweight directory. This is about Federation certificate, and then these are all the role services. And this is about Hyper-V. We could do that to create virtual machines, but we'll just leave this alone. So next. And we are going to allow this to receive live mitigations of machines. Next. And this is where all of them will go. And then this is about Windows deployment services. So basically what I'll do is you can specify a copy of Windows, and then once you put that over the network, you could then tell a set of computers to network boot, which will then prepare and install that copy of Windows on the computer with the programs and settings already installed. This is about volume activation. This is remote desktop. And we are going to do all of this. We're going to enable remote desktop. We're going to enable licensing. We'll enable session host. We'll enable virtualization and web access. Next. This again is about remote access. We'll just leave that alone. Or do we have to check all of this? So we'll check all that. Cannot install web application in Active Directory. Okay, so next. This is about network policy. And then this is about everything that we have. So we will, and if it needs to restart, we will let it automatically restart. And we will install. The installation has been successful, but now we are going to promote this to a domain controller, which is our next step. In order for this to work, we're going to add a brand new forest. And the domain name, we're going to give it the name Nostalgia. So next. Proposed for this Active Directory domain consists of a single label. So we could try something like nostalgia.local. And it works. So this will be a domain, and everything will operate as that. And we will have to create a directory services restore mode password. So a delegation cannot be created because the authentic parent zone cannot be found or cannot run on DNS. But I don't need it anyway. So next. Now this is where we verify that the NetBIOS name is correct, because this will show up on all computers when logging into them. So next. And then this is where everything will be saved. We'll leave it as it is. So we have some problems that we need to figure out. So let's see. We have the TCP IP networking protocol must be properly configured. So even copying the drivers over from the Windows 10 partition does not seem to make a difference. So unfortunately, that means we're going to have to try it on another computer. So I have tried everything to see if I could get the server going, but unfortunately have had no luck in doing so. So yeah, we've had no luck in getting this running whatsoever, which is very unfortunate, as I was hoping we were going to get further, but you know what? That's okay. At least I tried. We're going to go ahead and undo all the changes. And there we go. The space has been refilled. Alright, so while we may have been unsuccessful in trying to get one working this time, we will try it again next time, but this time with a different flash drive and on this Dell Inspiron, like I was originally hoping we would get working. So, there is hope that we can get this set up and accomplished. So, until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.